Welcome, race fans, to the virtual World Wide Technology Raceway here in, I don't know where this track is, whatever. Welcome, race fans, to the virtual World Wide Technology Raceway here for the Dark Horse Indycar Series Season 2, Race 3. Joining me today in the broadcast booth is Thomas Fisher. Thomas, how are you doing today?
I'm doing very well. How about yourself, Jonathan?
I'm doing very good as well. Today, we will be having our first race of the season that is that's at a track that isn't a mile and a half or bigger. I believe the Gateway Motorsports Park comes in at just under, I believe, a mile and a third. It might be just around that threshold. So what we're going to see today is going to be very different than what we saw at Homestead and Auto Club. I think what we're going to see a lot more of is drivers kind of spreading out, the field spread being a lot higher. I think the draft is only really going to come into play down the straightaways, whereas before we kind of saw it in the turns. I think we're going to see a lot more kind of spread out, more natural racing, but it's still, I think, is going to put on a really, really good show. Thomas, what are you expecting out of this race tonight?
I'm expecting maybe to see a few more collisions like we saw last week in insert track name here. Homestead. Yeah, Homestead, Miami. Yeah, we saw a little bit of contact then, but obviously that is pretty much flat out racing for most of the race. Here, it's kind of 50-50. I'm guessing towards the end of the tire since they're going to have to start lifting. And when people start lifting, we know that's when people start to make mistakes. And Jonathan, unlike you, I did do my research. And Gateway Motorsports Park is 1.25 miles long.
So I was right. It was just under a mile. I remember I had to research that a while back for something else. But that's not important.
It's in Illinois.
Thomas is smart and I'm not.
It's in Illinois.
Illinois.
Wherever that
is.
Wherever that is.
I had a feeling it was in Illinois, but I didn't want to say it.
I do big Canada. I do not know American states, except like Florida.
Well, you know what?
California.
You know, if this series ever goes to a track in Canada, perhaps sometime in Season 3, I'll go ahead and have you on the call, right? Because you can tell me Canada facts, whatever that may entail. Anyways.
Canada facts.
Oh, no.
Nailed it. All you need to know is poutine.
I'm assuming you're not talking about the Russian president.
Poutine. Poutine. And
right,
back to racing.
Some people pronounce it weirdly, but taking a look at the points after race 2, Charles Teed, your defending champion, is actually your points leader, sitting on 67. AJ Hobson, your Auto Club winner, 3 points behind, and Nicholas Wunnock, 6 points behind in third. Your race 2 winner, Nick DeGroot, only 15 points back, despite only making one start. So we got a pretty close field heading into race 3. Charles, what are you expecting out of the kind of those top 3 in points throughout the race tonight?
Charles?
I didn't say that. Thomas, what are you expecting? Okay, I was looking at the name Charles Teed. Thomas, what are you expecting out of those top 3 tonight?
Oh, honestly, I'm expecting, because I mean, obviously we're still in the early days of the championship, so I'm expecting for someone to try and put their foot out and want to commit to that lead. But surprisingly enough, the gap at the front between Gary Corley and David Leclaire, a force who in the last few races, some people, especially AJ Musselman, sitting down there in a position that is 12th, have said that he is pretty much the more formidable force in most of these races. So that's probably going to entail that he's going to be pushing hard and trying to regain basically ground for all the bad luck he's had in the last few races. As now, we've just gone into qualifying. So your top 3 then, after practice, were Josh Gardner. No, it wasn't Josh Gardner. Okay, everything's switched around now.
Why? Yeah, Gary Corley, probably. If you're looking at the screen, this is qualifying, so carry on with your stuff about practice. We're going to go ahead and switch on over to qualifying, starting with Jim Brooks. Brandon Pasalacqua, one of the first drivers taken to the track. Charles Johnson as well. Here's Alexander Van Sant in one of his first races. I believe this is his first race. Charles Johnson going to be the first to take to the track. Listen into his engine as he goes through turns 3 and 4, taking a look at how and where these drivers will be lifting. I think a big part of tonight is going to be kind of the lines that you're taking through the turns, trying to maximize that momentum. Charles. Thomas, I did it again! Thomas,
well, I have to say,
Thomas.
That is my name. Congratulations, Jonathan. I think you've known me long enough to remember that one, mate. One big thing about this track that you need to remember is that it is similar to the Lady in Black herself. That meaning that both turns, we're going to use 2 turns in this case. NASCAR fans, don't put me on a spike. Meaning they are both different radiuses. So
Could have
turn
just
one
said
is
Darlington. I don't know if everyone knows that that's what Darlington's called. Lap 1 for Johnson is going to be a 24.703, but Pasalacqua is going to knock that off by about 5/100ths of a second with a 24.650. Right now, Pasalacqua with the time to beat, but Johnson, coming off turn number 4 and to the line, is not going to improve on his time. Yes, he will. Charles Johnson to the top of the board with a 24.478. Now, Pasalacqua goes up in a third as Van Sant goes into second. One thing that
Bill Schwab. Yeah, Bill Schwab, they're sitting in 7th, about 3/10 off his nearest competition in Craig Forsyth. Big gap then from 6th to 7th. However, there's also a very, very large gap between 6th and 1st, being about 4/10 of a second. So I'm not too sure what happened there to David Leclaire. Maybe he's taking a slightly different line, as Speak of the Devil goes straight in a second ahead of Alexander van der Site with a 24.487, just losing out to Johnson by 9/1000ths of a second.
Now taking a look at Todd Schneider, he had a pretty slow first lap. He might have just been trying to get the tires warmed up. He is still quite off the pace, so he might just be trying to lay a lap down, maybe trying to start at the back. Krista Nelson, one of their first starts, coming through turns 3 and 4, going to set their first lap of the day.
I think something might have happened, though, to Todd Schneider, who on his first lap sets a 32.0. Yeah. That is horribly slow.
Yeah, I think Schneider might just trying to be kind of laying some lap downs, because I cannot speak. I believe that Schneider might just be trying to kind of get some laps down, kind of start at the back, because this definitely doesn't look like he's pushing. I mean, you can listen in. He is not pushing that car. He is not trying to get the most out of it.
Yeah, definitely. As Jim Brooks... Jim Brooks slides into 4th. AJ Hobson, who we're now looking at on your screen, he is now coming through turns 3 and 4. Now coming through turns 3 and 4, looking now to come set his first flying lap, which is going to be, as he's now coming towards the line, and it is going to be a 25 dead.
25.002 on my screen, maybe a little low through 1 and 2, might have tagged the wall there. AJ Hobson, your race 1 winner, not looking good early on. Right now relegated down in the 12th position as Eric Peterson right now on the pole. Coming through.
Yeah, sorry, I didn't even register. Peterson had beaten out Johnson, but you can see now as Craig Forsyth slides into 12th place, that's pushed AJ Hobson down to 14th in himself.
Nick DeGroot out on track now, currently in 9th, trying to improve on his time. To the line now, Nick DeGroot is going to say
goes 5th.
24.602 goes 5th.
Decent lap there from Nick DeGroot. Surprising, though, that he's that far off the pace, being about a 10th and 3/4 off. 5 drivers currently have not set a time in. Nicholas Wunnock.
Wunnock? We had it right, man. Come on.
We had it right. Wunnock.
We did this in the pre-race, but...
We did this in the pre-race. AJ Musselman, Max Davis, who I'm surprised hasn't set a lap yet. Is he out on track right now? He's not. He's sat warming his tires in pit lane. Yeah, Musselman now out on track, coming towards now, merging onto the track, heading towards his first lap. Michael Spell, I believe, he's just nowhere to be seen. I don't think he's actually hopped into qualifying. Jeffrey Duncan is not moving either.
Right now on track, you see Phoenix, Arizona's AJ Musselman. That's in the driver bios. I'm supposed to read that off, so hopefully he's okay with me saying that. Down the back straightaway towards turns 3 and 4. Musselman going to try and get it down to that second groove, just a little bit off that red and white curbing. Through 3 and 4, opening it up and coming to the line, trying to preserve as much momentum as he can. Musselman is going to set it only at 24.9. So not a great first lap. We'll see if his second lap is any better. Just about a lane off the bottom, getting a little closer this time by. Down the back end, right next to that outside wall, headed for 3 and 4. Now Wunnock out on track. Pretty high for AJ Musselman. I wonder if that's going to help him out with his speed. Coming to the line now off turn 4, nice and low. Musselman is going to set a 24.843. Not good enough to break into the top 10 even. Next up, Nicholas Wunnock. Still in the pit lane, but waiting to go. Max Davies in that same position. Both of them just waiting to set their laps.
Yep, I don't believe now anybody is on track as I'm just running through the driver's list. Oh, no. AJ Musselman's just coming into the pits. Yeah, no, I think...
Yeah, it leaves Davies and Wannock.
Yep. As well as Spell and Duncan, who have not set a lap. So as it stands now, with 3.5 minutes to go in qualifying, Eric Peterson is your current pole sitter, with Charles M. Johnson sitting right beside him. David Leclaire and Alexander Van der Seyden are on your second row, and to round out your top 5, we have Nick de Groot. So, Jonathan, how would you feel about getting our current pole sitter up into the booth?
I say that's a great idea.
All right, and now to find him. Here we go.
We'll let Max qualify here. Let us know when you're done, Max.
Hey, Eric, it's Thomas up for the team.
Thomas didn't say anything. I was waiting for you to start this interview, Thomas, and you just didn't.
Hey,
so
I actually caught my mute microphone button. I'm sorry.
Oh.
Okay. So Eric, you're currently sat. Yeah, you're currently sat on pole here. How are you feeling heading into the race?
It is going to be tough. It's going to be quite a attrition-filled race, I believe. So I was kind of making the thought is, do I start back or do I start up front? And of course, teammate peer pressure said, go for it. So I went out and went for it. And now I'm sitting there in the front, which is great because hopefully we all make it through turn 1. And, you know, I've been known to be a good qualifier. Now we'll see if I can turn it up and be a racer this time too.
Eric, I was actually going to ask you about that. We've seen in the past that you're definitely a lot more of a hot lapper than you are a racer. Not to say anything against you, but we've definitely seen in the past, you qualify up front and you're not really there at the end of the race. Is there anything that you think you can do differently today that might be able to make up that difference?
Well, based off the last races I've had, not speeding in the pits, not catching the white line like I did at Chicago a couple, 3-4 weeks back where I just spun out. It's just stupid stuff. To stay focused for as many laps as we have to, it tends that there's 26 other drivers that do it better than me. I tend to not really lose focus, but not getting bored. Just something always tends to happen. Either I'll speed in the pits or I'll not pay attention to fuel. It's just, trying to manage everything and get through 120 laps and finish up front. It's an awesome task. So these guys that are winning these races, they really have their, they really have their stuff together. And that's where I just need to be. And plus I'm a pretty non-aggressive driver. I'm going to let most people go and, kind of like to finish first, you have to first finish, idea. And that has come back to bite me a few times. So yeah, that's where we're at with that. So
yeah, have a look at the grid though. Sitting right on your gearbox, we have David Leclaire, who's been told to us by many drivers that he is the force to be reckoned with this season. How do you feel about him starting right behind you, and then right behind him as well? We have last week's race winner Nick de Groot.
Well, if we had different cars, he could push me, and that'd be awesome. But obviously with these Indy cars, we can't. So I'm just hoping that we make it through turn 1 and we get to go green and get the field, because it will spread out. And to be honest, if anybody is going to pressure me for the lead, I'm just, especially early in the race, I'm just going to let it go. I'm not going to try to fight it because there's too many laps here. Attrition is going to be high, I believe, and go from there. But David is definitely one of the top drivers in this league. So.
Yeah, well, brilliant. Thank you very much. We're going to let you grid up now and get on with your race. Just to confirm, you are with CIRE Motorsports, correct?
Yes, CIRE Motorsports. That's actually my name backwards. That's how I came up with it. So, because I spend most time going backwards. So, hey, there you go.
That's clever.
Fair enough.
Clever. I like that.
Yeah, we cannot bring you up for that. Anyway, thank you very much, and good luck in the race, man.
Thanks, guys.
Very interesting interview. Yeah, there with Jonathan. Oh, sorry, Jonathan with Eric.
You got it now. See, I'm not the only one.
Don't get me started on that. You've gotten me mixed up now, mate.
Sorry, you know what? I mix up a lot of names. It's just kind of a thing I do. You can ask people. It's just kind of the thing I do,
Exactly. So we've had his thoughts on the fact that he has had one of the fastest drivers in the league in David Leclaire, and then last week's race winner Nick de Groot out behind him. And honestly, when he came into the broadcast booth, he kind of had the attitude of, I'm just going to lay back and play this race out and see what happens, and if need be, I'm just going to send it. Could that strategy end up coming and biting him in the backside?
on one hand, I would say so, but on the other hand, I think we've seen Eric Peterson being bitten by bad luck, misfortune, mistakes so many times that I think after a while, his time is going to come, you know, in the best way possible, in that I think after one of these days, he's going to get himself a win. And I think, you know, we can only go so many races where Peterson qualifies up front, leads a couple of laps, and falls back before he is able to execute. I'm not saying that today is going to be the day, but I'm saying that he might be able to do it if he plays his cards right. We see him right now on your screen, Eric Peterson. He is going to be a force to be reckoned with. Before we get started, we're just going to give a quick shout out to our sponsor, Butt Kicker, and also the Lionheart Racing Series. Lionheart providing all the setups for this league. They've been a huge help in delivering the on-track product that you are about to see in just a pace lapse time. Thomas, any last words before we get this race underway?
Yeah, I was just going to say, actually, I have a feeling that if Eric can get his race strategy under his tires, then he could become the new Eric Heater, for those who remember him. Big shout out.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, you know, he definitely could. It's definitely not out of the question. So the pace car going to lead this field through turns 3 and 4. We're under the lights here in Gateway, and we should be in for a very, very good show. Strap yourselves in, folks, because it's time to bring the action from Madison, Illinois. Starting on pole is Eric Peterson, and he will lead us to green. We're underway on TMG, and at Gateway, green flag is out.
Very good start there from Eric Peterson, pulling right out in front of second place man Charles M. Johnson. You can see side by side behind with that is that David Leclaire and Alexander Van de Sant. You can see heading down now towards turn 3. No, he is side by side with Nick de Groot, that is. You see Nick de Groot going to fall back in line behind David Leclaire.
Leclaire now holds that spot over de Groot. De Groot back down the inside. This battle for fourth continuing, but it's a little bit early on to start fighting so much as Leclaire nearly just got into the wall off 2 there. That was very much close for the driver in the number 50. Meanwhile, for the lead, Charles Johnson going up the inside on Eric Peterson. He is going to take it away. Lap 3 of 120 underway from Gateway.
Yep, I have a feeling something might have happened, though, at the back with Bill Schwabauer. I think that's how you... Schwabauer. I'm just going to say it like that. And Jeffrey Duncan, because they are sat about 8 seconds off the back of the pack after 2 laps.
I did hear a little bit of wrecking in the back, but I decided not to investigate it since all of our leaders.
And side by side at the front. Sorry, side by side at the front here.
Yeah, I was gonna say we got a 4-car battle for second at the moment. Right now, Van de Sant in his first start, going up into second with Peterson
and Charles
on
Johnson.
that outside line.
Yeah, Charles Johnson is now leading, and that was almost contact. That
Leclaire.
With David Leclaire? Yeah, David Leclaire almost going straight up the backside of Eric Peterson, and now Nick de Groot has gone straight up his inside. Is now going up the inside of Peterson. Peterson has done exactly the opposite of what he wanted to do in staying at the front. He's now falling right the way back. I mean, I know he said that he might do that if people are pressuring him too much, but he needs to get a move on with it. It's now Jim Brooks having a look out on the outside of David Leclaire.
Yeah, Jim Brooks and Leclaire battling it out for 5th. Now Brooks,
Charles
his
Teed
momentum checked up. Yeah, I was just about to say, Charles Teed, your points leader, sending it down the inside on Brooks and up into 6th. It's been clean and green so far. 6 laps in here in Gateway. And a very, very good battle on track. Right now it's Van de Sant up into 2nd. Johnson pulling away at the front with de Groot and Peterson. 3rd and 4th. Now Leclaire trying to hop out of line behind Peterson. Nearly a little bit of contact towards turn 3. David Leclaire on the inside on Peterson trying to take that spot away.
Yeah, he does so extremely successfully. Peterson is now going to try and tuck back in behind David Leclaire, and that means he's now fallen down to 5th position in the space of 6 laps. That is crazy talk from the man on pole.
Yeah, especially with all the dirty air that I think these drivers are going to be experiencing. You know, it's not something that we like to talk about, not something that we like to have, but it's just kind of a fact of racing that whenever you have cars with this much downforce, you're going to end up with the problem of having dirty air. Now, luckily, with the amount of downforce that they have, these guys can really look around the track, trying to find some alternate lines, and I think that's going to be something that's really going to play into this race. Battle for 6th or 7th, because Eric Peterson is under fire from Benjamin Combs, Michigan winner last season.
Yeah, terribly sorry to interrupt you there, Jonathan, but Charles Teed and Jim Brooks just absolutely sent it, and now Benjamin Combs as well. So that's Eric Peterson down to that must be 8th, and Josh Garner might be having a look. He's going to the inside. He's not going to be able to do anything about it on this occasion. He may be going to try and get the run out of turn 4 and heading in now towards turn 1. All single file, though, at the front Charles M. Johnson still leading the way from Alexander Van de Sant, Nick de Groot, David Leclaire, Charles Teed, Jim Brooks, Benjamin Combs, Eric Peterson, Josh Gardner, and Brandon Pasalacqua, a man who started in...
Oh, here he goes down the inside. Pasalacqua and Gardner. Battle for 9th is on.
Yeah, Pasalacqua not being able to do much on this occasion. But is he going to have another look maybe into turn 1 with the draft? Gardner is going to be on the outside of the track. He's going to be sliding in, but Pasalacqua goes really wide on the entry, and now he has the momentum heading down into turn 3. You can see he's gone to the inside of the track. Gardner is going to be forced to the outside, and Gardner is not going to put up an inch of a fight. Craig Forsyth, is he going to be able to do anything about it? No, Gardner is going to have the run out of the corner, and absolutely nothing that Forsyth can do.
Now the battle kind of moving down to 10th. We're kind of seeing it kind of move down the order. For a while it was for 4th and Pasalacqua.
Side by side. Side by side for 2nd, as well.
Well, something just happened to Pasalacqua because he had to jump out of the gas coming off 2. That cost him 2 spots. Now Corley up into 11th. And you were saying side by side. Yes, indeed. It is Craig Forsyth going down the inside on Josh Gardner. Battling for, I believe, that is 9th.
That wasn't what I was talking about, but that works too. It was side by side between Nick de Groot and Alexander Van de Sant. For 2nd place.
Second.
Yeah, he most certainly is. You can see, though, Charles M. Johnson has properly buggered off like a stabbed rabbit at the front of this race.
Is that an expression people say? Is it?
I mean, not in America.
Understood. All right. This battle for 2nd is continuing.
See, this isn't only just a racing channel, it's also an educational YouTube channel.
Where we learn about all the weird things British people say. Probably shouldn't say that. Sorry, British viewers, if I have any.
Yeah, well, then people are going to be definitely enjoying the racing tonight, because it is definitely going to be a spicy one.
Yeah, like you were saying, Nick de Groot battling it out with Van de Sant for 2nd. Van de Sant going a little lower in 1 and 2, and right there, that's the difference between the 2 lines that these guys are running in 1 and 2. Take a look at that run that de Groot gets off turn 2, hops down to the inside on Van de Sant. Now, the battle for 2nd is on. De Groot gonna promptly take that spot away. Meanwhile, for 4th, David Leclaire pulling away from Charles Teed with Jim Brooks hidden back in 6th. Benjamin Combs in 7th. Peterson 8th. Garner 9th. Battle in just a little bit further back. Never mind, I thought I saw one. I did not.
I think there was a battle going on between... Okay, now I've completely lost it. I think it might have been between... I want to say... somewhere at the back, towards the back of the pack. Maybe Todd Schneider had something to do with it. Just looking around. Oh, looking up the inside of AJ Musselman, though, was Brandon Pasalacqua.
If I may
for that 12th spot.
The field right now closing in about a 2 or 3/10 a lap on your leader, Charles Johnson. Johnson might have burnt up his tires trying to pull away because Nick de Groot is down, that gap down to 0.5 of a second. So Johnson either entering a really big tire-saving mode, or Nick de Groot has just been saving his tires really well, because right now he is on the charge. Gap at 0.5 of a second down the back this time by. We'll see what it is off turn 4.
Yep. Oh, and sorry to go again here, but AJ Musselman and AJ Hobson are having a wee little tussle here for that 11th place.
2 AJs battling it out on track. Another thing that I wanted to keep everyone updated on is the gap between the leaders and the lapped drivers. Taking a look at Michael Spell and Gary Corley, Johnson isn't that far behind, only about 1 turn back. Now, you'll see Nick de Groot hopping up the track just a little bit, about 1 lane off the bottom, trying to get that run down the front straightaway and take the lead away. We've been green so far, 19 laps into the running.
Yeah, you can see, though, he's going to go right to the outside of the track. He's going to look for the run out of turn 2.
Oh, that was very close to the wall.
Yeah, he's not really going to get it, though, because of that. And to the 7 people currently watching this race, we are hoping you are enjoying it. It is absolutely awesome to commentate on, even in these first 20 laps.
3-car fight for the lead now. Johnson is stacked up. De Groot back to Van de Sant. There is a 3-car fight going on for the lead. Charles Johnson kind of trying to play the Joey Logano here, just trying to take away De Groot's line, not let him run that line cleanly.
Holy moly!
Nick de Groot.
Yep, and that's going to leave the opportunity for Alexander Van de Sant up the inside of Nick de Groot. And who's that in pit lane?
Oh, 1 car in the pits.
That is Gary Corley.
Oh,
is there damage on that car?
Oh,
no, I think he just bit.
That is very unfortunate. He was one of the fastest drivers in practice. Now he is down into the pit lane. Meanwhile, at the front...
nope. He did a replica pretty much exactly of what he did in practice. He hit the wall coming out of 2, and now he is straight into pit lane, I'm assuming, probably to get repairs.
Yeah, that wall off turn 2 really just sneaks up on you. In my experience racing at this track in the ARCA cars is here. We see a battle for the lead. Alexander Van de Sant going down the inside on Charles Johnson. Side by side towards turn number 1.
Yeah.
De Sant
going to
take away the lead, but Johnson fighting back on the outside is going to keep it.
Yeah, sorry to interrupt on that one as well, but a little bit further back, Eric Peterson falls back even further with Josh Garner getting past him for that is 8th place.
Oh, up the track again goes Nick de Groot. We got lap traffic now in the way. I believe that is Schwabauer.
It is Schwabauer.
Oh,
you can see Nick de Groot.
Oh,
Nick de Groot gets absolutely held up. I'm sure as...
up the track as well. Nearly in the wall goes de Groot.
I believe, did Bill Schwab... I think Bill Schwab might have hit the wall, though, because he went right up to the back of Nick de Groot. Oh, no, he just managed to avoid it, but that was very close.
This is a very, very good battle for the lead. Down the inside goes de Groot. Johnson tried to cover him off to the high side. De Groot said, no thank you, went back down to the inside. That cost him a little bit of momentum, pushed him back just a bit. Coming now to lap 24 of 120. Nick de Groot still trying to take away the lead.
Yeah, we've seen, though, Nick de Groot does know how to defend his position as he's straight up the inside of Johnson, and absolutely nothing that he can do on that occasion to defend from it.
Johnson maybe looking back on the outside, though. Don't count him out just yet.
Yeah, well, we know how strong de Groot is on defense, as we saw last week.
De Groot just took away his line, dumped a ton of dirty air on Johnson. Johnson going to fall back as Van de Sant now looking down the inside. De Groot pulling out a 5/10 gap coming to lap 26.
Interesting, though, how we're seeing it looks almost as if everybody's kind of in different phases with their tires. So you can see, though, I have a feeling Johnson might be deciding that, you know what, it's about time I start saving tires, because if not, I'm going to get to the end of this stint and I'm going to be hitting that outside wall out of 2.
Yeah, that outside wall, I was saying this earlier and then I got cut off by, very rudely interrupted by a very good battle for the lead. That in my experience racing here in the ARCA cars, I believe they went here last season, that turn 2 wall, it just sneaks up on you. That turn 1, you know, it's a lot tighter radius than you think it is. It's not quite as banked as you might hope. It's much tighter than you'd think, and that turn 2 wall will just jump out on you. Now, Van de Sant has gotten around to Groot, or sorry, not to Groot, Johnson for second. Now he has free reins to try and reel in your leader, Nick de Groot, coming lap 28.
I do have a feeling that we might have a bit of a repeat of what we saw last week. And who's that in the pits? Is that Schwabauer in the pits? It is Schwabauer in the pits.
First car to pit.
First car to pit of his own will, I do believe.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
I have a feeling that we might see kind of what we saw last week at Homestead with Nick de Groot, and in this case, Alexander Van de Sant, where, you know, I mean, last week we saw Nick de Groot just hold his line, and he held off second place runner.
Yeah, that's one of the things that I think Nick de Groot is very, very, very good at. Is just kind of holding his line, staying where he should be on the racetrack. He's actually pulling away right now from Van de Sant. He's got that gap almost up to a second. Now it'll be Charles Johnson falling into the clutches of David Leclaire, about 1.2 seconds between them. Battle going on for 8th between Craig Forsyth and Jim Brooks. Pasalacqua also lining up a move on Hobson. He's about 2/10 back. That's actually a 3-car stack up for 10th with Eric Peterson all the way down there. Not good for the driver of the 36 who started this race from pole.
Yep. I mean, to be fair, the biggest challenger to Nick de Groot has always been George.
No, it was George, just George.
It's George. It's just George Anzaldo, who is not here, I believe, this week. So that's pretty much his biggest competition from last week, sitting down. But Brandon Pasalacqua, the man who came 3rd last week, is
we have a
currently
car in the pits. Van de Sant down into the pit lane. He is going to bring that 317 into the pits for service. First stops of the day coming around lap 30. This would imply 3-stop strategy.
Yep, I heard some drivers talking about whether a 3-stop or a 4-stop strategy would be best, and I have a feeling most drivers have come to the consensus that it will be a 3-car stop.
3-stop race, but yes. Another thing that I'm kind of wondering here is if Van de Sant can execute the undercut. Nick de Groot is actually staying out a couple more laps here. I would have thought that he would have reacted the following lap, but he stayed out quite a bit. Charles Johnson, he might have just lost a position. No, he is into the pits as well, along with David Leclaire. So it's Nick de Groot in the lead, perhaps trying to extend to a 3-stop, or a 2-stop.
Yeah, well, Nick de Groot has to be careful as well because all these drivers are going to be on much fresher tires, 33-lap fresher tires to be exact, which means that they're going to be lapping 33 laps of tire wear worth faster than what Nick de Groot is. That made sense in my head.
More drivers coming into the pits, Eric Peterson, Benjamin Combs, but we'll keep you updated on your race leader, Nick de Groot. I'm actually very intrigued by this because a few days back I was watching a replay of an iRacing race at Rockingham. Drivers were trying to basically extend it to either a 3 or a 2-stop strategy, and the 2-stoppers had the advantage trying to extend it to lap 75 instead of 50 until a late race caution came out, threw everything out the window. If you're trying to extend to a longer stop like that, that's something that could always come, kind of throw a
Nick de Groot's in.
Works or whatever you guys say.
Nick de Groot is in the pit lane.
Yes, he is. De Groot into the pits 4 laps after, I believe it was Van de Sant, so now we'll see who's going to get out first. Van de Sant.
Yeah, looking at Van de Sant now. Yeah, Van de Sant now coming out of turn 2. He is now on the same lap as Nick de Groot, so coming through turns...
He's going to lap himself this time by.
No, now he's on the same lap.
No, he's not.
Your scoreboard lies to you.
No, it doesn't. All right,
because
so
look,
Nick
de
de
Groot
Groot is just spun in the pit lane.
I don't think he spun. I think he might have been hit. Was he hit?
Yellow flag out on the racetrack.
Nope. Yeah, Nick de Groot just completely dumps himself as he was side by side exiting the pit lane with, I believe, that is Michael Spell.
And
so maybe Michael Spell got him a little bit confused out of pit lane or something like that. Maybe got a little flustered. And but no, he dumped himself coming out of the pit lane, and that is super unfortunate for your race leader.
iRacing called it a caution. And you know what else this does? Brandon Pasalacqua has just got the luckiest break I may have ever seen. He stayed out long enough that he has the entire field trapped a lap down. So Brandon Pasalacqua, currently on a lap of his own, he is going to have to pit. But this is really going to change everything. I was talking about how this was really going to throw a spanner in the works. That's exactly what it's just done.
I have to say, I think Brandon Pasalacqua can be like Lewis Hamilton and start spreading... Oh, Brandon Pasalacqua was just given an EOL penalty.
Oh. That might be to counteract the issues of having a... I don't even know. He also got a little bit of a push there. He might be out of fuel.
He might
Oh,
be?
no, he is. Yeah, he had to get a push into the pit lane. Either the engine died, or he is completely out of gas, and I believe it was the latter. Listen in. Yeah, just no revs.
Yeah, and at the same time there, as I was, I think I just literally given Brandon Pasalacqua with a commentator's curse, because I was about to say he can now do a Lewis Hamilton and throw #blessed all over social media. But nope, he's run out of fuel.
He ran out of fuel a while ago, because you can see even here in 1 and 2. You can barely hear it, but those lights flashing, I believe they mean that he's low on fuel, and the engine's just going to die. Needed actually a push back into the pit lane. Not exactly very easy to do in these Indy cars. So even more drama, because Brandon Pasalacqua did not come into the pits, had a lucky caution, had to come in later. That's actually going to put Charles Johnson in the lead, I believe, or not. Maybe Pasalacqua did get lucky. I believe he might have.
Looking at it now, your leader is technically still Brandon Pasalacqua.
So I believe what happened is Pasalacqua stayed out on track, caught the caution, had everyone a lap down, gave up that lap while pitting to fuel the car, but is going to be able to keep the lead. Well, now he's got an EOL, so now he's going to be going to the back. I'm guessing that's for... I don't even know what that's for. But, because he just got passed by Charles Johnson, I'm assuming that was intentional. Another car stranded going into the pit lane. That's Michael Spell.
Well,
no, never mind.
The leader behind the pace car is Alexander Van de Sant, followed by... Okay, Todd Schneider's just a lap down. Jeffrey Duncan as well. So on track, your leader, I Oh, wow, this is a mess.
This is what happened at Homestead. Remember that the leader was scored like at the tail end of the field, and second was scored at the front. This is what happens when you have cautions during green flag pit stops. One of the leagues that I race in, FTF, we had a very similar situation, messed everything up there as well. So in general, cautions under green flag pit stops do not bode well. I believe Charles Johnson is your leader with Pasalacqua in second. Now I think they're just going to let everyone catch up to him.
Yep, and I think that right now, Jonathan, would be a good time for an ad break while we figure out what's going on and we can get this mess sorted.
You know what? That's a great idea. We're going to cut to commercial and we will be right back.
With the Butt Kicker Gamer 2, what you see and what you hear is what you feel. Butt Kicker. The future is feeling.
Well, we're back live on TMG, but no one really knows what's going on. There is a car on track right now. I believe that is Alexander Van de Sant catching back up to the field. We are still under yellow here at Gateway. Right there is your scored leader, Charles M. Johnson.
All right, man. Lights are back on the pace car. We're not going green this time. We are not going green.
So the lights were out that time, but they ended up getting back on again. Pasalacqua lining up in second. Van de Sant down his inside. So I believe Pasalacqua is going to be headed to the back. Now everyone's going to be lining up, and we will be able to go back green next time by. Charles right now, sorry, not Charles. Thomas right now, not in the booth. He is gathering some info from the admins. He'll be back in a moment. But a very interesting situation when a caution came out under green flag pit stops. It's really, really messed up the strategy for some of these guys and made Brandon Pasalacqua very, very unlucky when at first it was looking like he might have perfect luck.
Yep, so I have had a chat with the race officials, and so your current field is supposed to be Johnson from Van de Sant, De Groot, Brooks, Hobson, Leclaire, Musselman, Teed, and then Forsyth, Winnock, Combs, Peterson, Davis, Nelson, Spell, and then Pasalacqua.
Sounds good to me. We're going to go back green with Van de Sant, your leader. Everything's been sorted there. Going to be single file for the restart. 80 laps to go at the line. Here we go once again.
Well, after this very eventful caution, we are going to be going back to green, as now apparently Van de Sant is your leader.
Yes, he is.
Okay, we're gonna roll with it.
Oh, wait, where is Nick De Groot? In fourth. There are lapped cars in the second and third position. Makes sense to me. Here we go once again. Van de Sant, your leader, going to bring them off turn 4. We are back to the action. Here in Illinois, green flag is back out. That is not the right graphic. That is the right one. We are back racing from Gateway.
And Van de Sant has buggered off like a stabbed rabbit.
You said it again. I still don't understand what that means, but okay.
Well, it's because if a rabbit's been stabbed, then it's frantic and it runs quickly.
Why are we bringing stabbed rabbits into this? No, never mind. Back to racing. Nick De Groot into second. Jim Brooks back to third.
Remember,
Hobson
though,
to fourth. Leclaire to fifth. Carry on.
The important thing to remember, though, is if you have a look at Nick De Groot's front wing, that is back to front, side to side, like a roller coaster. And that is not going to be producing very much downforce.
Alright, take a look at this. Yeah, that's not good.
Yep. Even a NASCAR enthusiast such as yourself can realize that something has gone quite wrong with that.
Well, an NASCAR enthusiast in myself is thinking that they've set it up to make exclusively left turns by only providing downforce on the right side of the car. But I also know that that's stupid and I don't know anything about aerodynamics. David Leclaire right now in fifth, battling against AJ Hobson for that fourth spot. Everyone else single file. Van de Sant up to a 3-second lead. I believe Nick De Groot at this point is kind of holding everyone up. Jim Brooks probably pretty eager to get around him.
Yep, because the gap at the front now, as we come across the line, I can tell you as soon as Nick DeGroot crossed the line, last time it was 2.8, and now it is 3 seconds.
Here comes Hobson down the inside, right against that red and white. Race 1 winner trying to take the lead away, or not the lead, the second spot away from Nick DeGroot. Down
Not going to be able to do anything. Yep, no, he's going to still be behind Nick DeGroot as we're heading into turn 3.
On board with Hobson.
Oh, almost into the back of Nick DeGroot. There it looked like, and he's now up the inside of last week's race winner. You can see it straight up the inside. Oh, Nick DeGroot is fighting back. Oh, and is that
Hobson hard into the wall.
And
no
that is
green.
wow. That is put it like that seems to be a mistake, a very rare mistake in this case from AJ Hobson, but that will be pretty much his race over if you ask myself.
Yeah,
unless he uses his
that was
boss
just
repair.
getting loose on the bumpy surface. I mean, even visibly you can see this track is very, very old, very, very bumpy, and mistakes like that are pretty common around here. Now we've got a battle for second. Jim Brooks going down the inside on Nick DeGroot. He is going to be the first driver to kind of release the pressure and let everyone by. Now Charles T going down the inside on DeGroot.
That was David Leclaire who just went up the inside, but now Charles T is having a look up the inside. Nick DeGroot is going to.
I knew that. I saw that Charles.
Oh, it's spinning!
Jim Brooks.
That is Jim Brooks.
Into the wall and flipping again. No caution because he's able to stay going. But now the caution is out on lap 48 of 120. Second yellow flag of the day.
What is it right now on? What is it at this time of the race with these drivers hitting the wall? Yeah, no, he just came out of the corner. And the rear just stepped out on him, and then he got completely iRacing physics and decided to do just a barrel roll.
And keep in mind, AJ Hobson and Jim Brooks, they were the two drivers battling it out for the win at Auto Club a few weeks ago. So those two drivers, wherever one goes, the other one does as well. In this case, it was off turn 2 and then to the inside wall. That wasn't a funny joke. Oh yeah, Brooks just got loose.
Yeah, completely just got loose then. Super unfortunate for him, though, because now as well, Nick DeGroot, if he stops faking for pit lane, he could, in fact, go get that damage repaired. But David Leclaire and Alexander Van de Sant are both in pit lane.
Oh, this is interesting. A very split strategy.
Yeah, that's weird, though, because they only pitted about 15 laps ago.
Yeah, this is interesting.
It most certainly is. And now, Jonathan, should we bring up our recent wrecker outer, as they say,
I don't think
in Jim
anyone
Brooks?
says that, but okay.
Should we bring up Jim Brooks?
I think we should.
Hey, Jim, it's Thomas up at the TMT broadcast booth. You got me?
I do.
Yeah, so sorry to have to bring you up in a time like this. We know, obviously, it's never easy crashing into the wall when you're in such a dominant position. But can you just run us through what happened and what caused that accident?
Okay, you're going to have to say that again. I've got my pit crew talking like crazy. One more time, please.
Yeah, no worries. We saw, obviously, then you hit the wall when you're in such a dominant position. It was super unfortunate for you, but can you just run us through what happened in that accident and then what caused it?
Oh, yeah. No, I got a really good corner there, and I was holding it down a little too tight, and it just snaps around. That's a bad thing. AJ did the same thing, I think, the lap or so before. So, yeah, you got to be careful off of 2 if you turn too hard.
Yeah. So now you are set there in what position is that? About 15th position. Yeah. So are you looking to hopefully maybe make your way back up to that dominant position where you were before, or do you think that's pretty much race over for you tonight?
No, I'll be fine. I'm going to take it a little easier. There's still some ways to go here, but just don't be too aggressive like I was there.
Yep. Well, thank you very much, Jim, and we'll talk to you after the race.
Thanks, man.
So that was Jim Brooks. Just got into the inside wall. He has been relegated back into the 15th position. Meanwhile, your race leader is once again Nick DeGroot, but he is going to have that damage. This makes things very interesting because now he's not really so much going to be a cork in the bottle for second. He's going to be stacking up the whole field. And quite honestly, I don't see this going too well, but we'll see how this progresses. I believe the field will be taking 1 degree next time by. Thomas, what are you expecting on this restart here?
honestly, with Nick DeGroot leading, you never really know what's going to happen. It will probably become like David and the Goliath. Actually, no, that reference makes no sense to you guys. It will probably be the immovable wall versus the unstoppable force at the end of the day here.
Well, I don't think. Why would we not understand that reference? It's a pretty common analogy.
David and the Goliath. No, it's because I was going to twist it. Anyway,
Well,
never mind. We're now 1 to green. Nick DeGroot is your leader, followed by Craig Forsyth, Charles Teed, Alexander Van de Sant, David Leclaire, did I say Charles Combs? Benjamin Combs, Nicholas Winnock, Eric Peterson, AJ Musselman, Max Davis, Krista Nelson, Charles M. Johnson sitting there in 12th position. A little bit low down from him, given that he was leading before. Brandon Pasalacqua has made up a good amount of places in 13th. 14th, we have Jim Brooks. 20, that's okay. And then at the back, it just becomes a chaos of whoever is wherever.
One other kind of interesting thing that I'm noticing here is a lot of the pack is kind of backing up to DeGroot. You see, they're not really all stacked on top of each other like you might expect. Well, coming back to the restart here on lap 52 of 120, DeGroot going to be in the lead with that front end damage. So we'll see how that affects him. Pace car going to make that left turn into the pit lane. Here we go once again at Gateway. Nick DeGroot leading him back to green. We are back underway here for race 3. Any moment now. There he goes. We are back racing in Gateway.
Yep, I have to say, it wasn't just me and my Canadian internet, or did Nick DeGroot hit the wall as he stepped on the gas?
I think he's okay.
I think it'll be fine, but just a little observation for me. As you can see, all drivers making their way nicely through turn 2. Watch me jinx it. Nope, no caution. Okay, Nick DeGroot there pulling out a substantial lead already over Craig Forsyth, the man who qualified on 12th position. Now Charles Teed in 3rd place is looking all over the back of Craig Forsyth. He's going to make a look down to the inside. He had a look, nothing he can do on this occasion. Alexander Van de Sant is right on his tail, however, and he does get the run coming out of turn 2. He's going to look maybe down to the inside. He's looking to the outside. He's looking absolutely everywhere, but he's not anything to do about it on this occasion.
I gotta say, Craig Forsyth is one of those drivers who always seems to be in a good position, kind of towards the middle of this race. He really takes advantage of these opportunities. That's how he's in second right now when we really haven't seen him all race. Meanwhile, like you were saying, Charles Teed and Van de Sant right now battling for that 3rd spot. Meanwhile, for the lead, Nick DeGroot has lost that 5/10 advantage and has Forsyth all over his gearbox.
Yeah. Van de Sant did get through, though, on Charles Teed? Nope, he didn't. Okay, we're 3 wide of the front.
3 wide. Oh, no.
Yep, Alexander Van de Sant made it 3 wide between Nick DeGroot and Craig Forsyth. And Craig Forsyth takes the lead with a brilliant move around the outside. For that, as Jeremy Clarkson says, you need big cojones to do that.
You know what? I'm sure we can say that on the broadcast. Down towards turn 3 once again. Van de Sant on the inside on Nick DeGroot. Now, DeGroot on that outside, not really preferred line through 3 and 4. He is going to lose a ton of positions. Charles Teed on his inside as well. That lack of downforce is going to hurt him quite a bit, I imagine, when you're trying to make that outside line work. You know, in the days when dynamic track was working properly on the sim, maybe you'd be able to stand a chance up there, but no.
Yeah, just no.
Oh, David Leclaire. Big move down the inside.
Yep, you can see, though, Nick DeGroot with that front wing damage sense, absolutely no chance against these guys, and he's just going to be sliding all the way back down the order. As you can see, Charles Teed is he as well going to have to look down the inside. He's going to be biding his time, going to look for the run out of turn 2 now. He's going to look to the inside. Will he? There he goes, down to the inside. Goes Charles Teed on Nick DeGroot. You can see he's going to turn in nicely and immediately through into that 4th spot.
Nice move by Charles Teed, your current points leader. He doesn't really have too many people to worry about. Battle for the lead going on now. Here comes Van de Sant down the inside on Forsyth. To the lead goes Van de Sant, or I should say back to the lead. He was in control of it early on. Well, now he is back up front. Lap 59 of 120 underway.
Very good move there from Van de Sant to go up the inside of Craig Forsyth. Craig Forsyth, though, might be looking to get the run out of turn 4, this is, to maybe see if he can do anything about it into turn 1. But you can see David Leclaire all over his backside, so we might be having to look in those mirrors instead of what's out of his visor. You see, though, very early turn-in from Craig Forsyth, looking to keep that inside line. He is going to have to be careful, though, because, as you said, Jonathan, early in the race, that wall coming out of turn 2 does approach really quickly.
Yeah, absolutely. When you're coming out of that turn, in a way, it almost feels like a 50-50 chance, right? Like, I'm either going to hit it, or I'm just not going to hit it. It's a little bit easier when you have all the downforce that these DW12s have. But when you're running a car with less downforce, kind of like Nick DeGroot is right now, then it becomes a lot more of a challenge. As you see, David Leclaire really had to back out of the throttle there through 1 and 2. Battle for 4th now between Charles Teed and Benjamin Combs.
Yeah, very good battle then between these two. You see Benjamin Combs is as well biding his time on Charles Teed, trying to get a run. Maybe is he going to do it at turn 4? He is closing the gap, but he's going to be able to do nothing about it on this occasion. Oh, he's looking to the inside. He's very close, though. And now you can see all the way to the outside. Is that on purpose?
That was a mistake right there.
Yeah, that was a mistake. Way too late on turn it, and he has lost all the ground he made up coming out of turn 4.
Again, if dynamic track was still a thing, that would have worked. I'm just kind of, like, in case someone from iRacing is watching this, just like, hey, if you want to get dynamic track working on NTM7, just, maybe, but... Oh, well.
What is MTM7?
That's the new tire model, version 7. I've done a lot of research on this over the past 2 days, because I've been frustrated with how things have been working, so I've been on the forums quite a bit trying to figure out how these things work, so I'm going to try and insert as much knowledge as I can about that. David Leclaire now up to the wheelhouse of Craig Forsyth. Battle for 2nd is on.
Okay, so what we figured out is that I can teach you about aerodynamics and physics, and you teach me about iRacing tire models.
Yes.
Okay.
I can teach you about dirty air and draft on iRacing as well. That's something I've done a lot of research on. And by that I mean I've looked at a couple of forum posts. We should talk about the race. Battle for 2nd is being won by David Leclaire.
I lived it because I can actually win C fixed.
Man, you know what? Let's just... David Leclaire, right? Let's talk about him and not my inability to drive a virtual stock car. Truck, whatever.
Alright, you can see though, David Leclaire is catching up to Alexander Van de Sant a little bit each lap. A very big closing speed though. As you can see, heading through turns 3 and 4. He's going to have to run out of 4. He's going to have a look, try and close up to the back of Van de Sant. Nothing he can do on this occasion. He's going to be looking maybe to get another run out of turn 2. He's not going to have it though on this occasion.
Right there. That's going to be quite a bit of aero push. Pretty much locked him up that track, and it's going to put Craig Forsyth right on his gearbox once again.
Yep, you can see though, is he going to have to try and get the run out of turn 4? Yes, he is. You can see he's going to start closing in on Van de Sant, but nothing he can do on this occasion, just a bit too far back. The gap at the line then was 0.4 of a second, and
Wide
then he
again.
has another 3.
Oh, that was close.
Oh, yeah, but now that means he's going to be under attack by Craig Forsyth heading into turn 3, all over the back of him now. You can see that blue and white car looking absolutely beautiful.
I gotta say, David Leclaire reminds me quite a bit of the real-life Leclaire, Charles Leclaire, because... I mean, he's very obviously very fast. He's been in a position to win a lot of these races. He even got the win in the Auto Club 140. Well, what we're seeing out of him today is a lot of speed, but a lot of mistakes. Kind of getting in that dirty air, pushing up the track. We're seeing a lot of mistakes, but we're also seeing a lot of speed. That is why he has kept the gap under a second to Van de Sant, and is probably going to start closing in on him once again.
Yep, you can see now though, Van de Sant has absolutely buggered right off at the front. The gap at the line then was 0.8 of a second, so it's doubled in the space of 2 laps, as we're now coming to lap 70 in this race.
Battle between Eric Peterson and Brandon Pasolaco. I just wanted to move back a little bit, take a look at what's happening in the midfield. 16 cars currently on the lead lap, no retirees just yet. Couple of battles going on at the racetrack, mainly the battle for 2nd between Forsyth and Leclaire. Update on the leader compared to lap traffic. It's not great. It's about a straightaway at the moment. Leclaire falling back once again. Forsyth looking for a move down the inside. Gap at the front now 1.15 hundredths, whatever of a second. I forgot the word.
The gap at the front is 1 second.
Well, yes, but I wanted to be specific.
Fair enough.
Thank you.
Gap at the line there, 1.158 seconds. And the gap between, that is Craig Forsyth and David Leclaire, is now 2.2 tenths of a second.
Would that just be 22 hundredths of a second? You know what?
Don't worry about it.
I'm not going to worry about
fancy.
it. 1.2 seconds now between Leclaire and Van de Sant. Really what David Leclaire is probably hoping for is for that lapped car of Bill Schwabauer up the track just a little bit to hold up Van de Sant. We're coming to lap 72 of 120. Thomas I don't know how much attention you've been paying to the strategy, but what are you thinking in terms of how these drivers are going to stop?
Oh, caution!
Oh,
there's a caution. What happened?
Yellow flag is out, and it is Nicholas Wannock. Slow on the back straight away. That might be it.
Is it? It is. He went at. Oh, he got rear-ended by, who is that? That is Josh Gardner. Coming through turn 2, he just got absolutely pummeled, and then into the outside wall, and that was the end of it.
Before we take a look at a replay, I want to go ahead and follow pit stops here. The drivers who have stopped twice in the top 5 are Van de Sant, Leclaire, and Combs. The drivers who have stopped only once are Forsyth and Teed. So we'll see how this plays out. Van de Sant back into the pits, so it's Leclaire. Forsyth coming in. Everyone's coming in.
Yep. There's one driver who stayed out.
Oh,
who is that?
Davies. No? Looks
Gardner.
similar to Davies. He is a lap down, so he's going to have to pit next time by.
Yep. And Hobson as well, who's also a lap down, but I think everybody who's on the lead lap, except... I beg, was that...
Huh?
Was that... Nick de Groot stayed out. Nick de Groot... Nick! Pit, my guy!
You know
I
what?
beg.
No. He's powerful. He's powerful. He doesn't need to pit.
He needs to pit.
Listen to me. You can't just tell Nick de Groot to pit. You can't do that. He pits when he wants.
I know Nick de Groot is oh wait. Why is his front wing repaired?
Fast repairs. Race out of the pit lane, won by Alexander Van de Sant, followed by Leclaire and Forsyth. Meanwhile, we're trying to get an update on Nick de Groot, who now has a repaired front wing and has stopped... Oh my. Michael Spell has stopped 5 times in this race.
Oh, he pitted on lap 71.
Oh.
I mean, okay, Nick, don't pit. Don't pit.
You know what? That might be a decent strategy. It's not really going to get him anything, but he's going to try. Also, to my previous point, Michael Spell, 5 stops. No idea how he did it. We're going to go ahead and take a look at a replay of what happened to Nicholas Wannock. We're going to try and do it quickly because we only have a few laps until we go back green. So you said it happened to him, right?
Yep.
All right, well,
here we go. It should be this right here. You can see, yep, Josh Gardner getting the run, and then just absolutely punted him and straight to the scene of the accident for Nicholas Wannock.
Yeah. I mean, pretty basic spin right there. You see that stuff pretty often in these Indy cars, especially at tracks where you have to lift and brake quite a lot more. Just drivers kind of not knowing when they're braking, not knowing when other people are braking, brakes fading over the course of a run, tires not being great, just kind of a combination of those factors. And, if you mess it up, then that stuff just kind of happens. Can't really put too much fault on the 12 there, because one, it kind of sent it up the track.
The big thing we have to be careful of, though, there is the fact that we're saying that we can't put too much blame on him, but we saw a very similar incident happen last week at Homestead between, it was Hayden Lowell and who was the other driver? There was another driver it happened to as well.
I think it was actually Lowell and Spell.
Yeah, Lowell and Spell there. And Lowell was punished extremely severely after the race. And I think it was 4 penalty points.
He's actually on -2 points right now. I just thought that was...
Yeah, he's on... I mean, it is quite. But anyway... So I have to say, though, I think that might be an incident that will be looked at by the stewards and definitely will be reported, as now I think we're either coming to 1 or 2 to green.
We're probably coming to 1 to green, but if not, we have stuff to talk about because I've just pulled up the points graphic again. Charles Teed, who is your points leader, right now running in 4th, doesn't really have too much pressure from AJ Hobson or Nicholas Wannock. They've both just wrecked out. So this could be a very good day indeed for Charles Teed, trying to extend his advantage at the top of the table. Lights are now out on the pace car, so we do have 1 to green this time by. We are going to go back racing on lap 76 of 120. On fuel, I believe these drivers can make it to about 110. So this could be a fuel mileage race to the end, but I believe they're going to have to stop one more time.
I believe that most of these drivers are going to have to adopt the strategy that Jimmy Broadbent loves to do in look at my lift and coast.
You know what, that might be it. Although I will say it's a lot harder to lift in these Indy cars because they can snap around on you if you're not careful.
Yeah, because I mean, the thing is that to lap 110, if I can do maths in my head real quick, we have approximately 34 laps.
That's probably their fuel run. We saw what happened if you stay out for too long on a fuel run. It happened to pass the lockway, you're just going to run out. And that is
And
definitely
sorry to
not
interrupt
something
you,
these drivers want to
but
have.
here we go. We're coming out through turn 4. The pace car is going to take that hard left turn into the pit lane now, and it's going to be Alexander Van de Sant leading your field from David Leclaire and Craig Forsyth, and he's gone. We are back green here at Gateway Motorsport Park.
Not a great jump by Van de Sant. Leclaire only 4/10ths back. It's definitely recoverable if you get in the slipstream. Plus, on fresh tires, a big gap like that, I mean, you know, the dirty air, it's not going to affect him as much. 3/10ths back, but he's gaining down the back. David Leclaire hungry for this race lead. Battle for third, Forsyth and Teed. Teed, your points leader, trying to get as much as he can out of this opportunity. Meanwhile, battle for the lead. Here goes David Leclaire on the inside. Van de Sant holding on the outside.
Good way there from Van de Sant to hold it around the outside of David Leclerc, who seemed to be very aggressive on that inside line. You can see now David Leclerc is going to try and get back in that slipstream and see what he can do about it. As for third place now, that is.
Charles Teed down the inside on Forsyth. I mean, if you're Charles Teed right now, you've been handed a brilliant opportunity with your two closest championship rivals wrecking out. He's probably trying to make the most out of this right now.
Okay, and in trying to make that position up on Forsyth, he's lost a position to Johnson, who has had a brilliant recovery. He's now in 5th?
Yeah, that's definitely not something you want to have happen.
That's 4th.
Generally, when you're trying to make an overtake, your goal isn't to lose a spot. Battle for third, that's Charles Johnson and Forsyth, with Teed looking at maybe making a move. Leclerc for the lead has fallen back about 3.5 tenths. Now Teed under fire from Combs. He might be losing more spots here. Oh, down the inside again on Forsyth, trying to take away 4th. I think 3 and 4 is a much better place to go for the move than 1 and 2, just because of how single groove it is. You know, if you can get on that inside, it's basically you're guaranteed to get that spot. Oh, comes around. 2-car crash, turns 1 and 2, flipping. Goes, I believe, I don't know who that was, it was Jim Brooks. Brooks and Combs get tangled up in turns 1 and 2, and the caution is back out.
Why does it seem to be just Brooks' luck at this point that he is going straight into every accident? Having a look now, oh, well, as I say that, yeah. In my professional analyzing opinion, I'm sorry, my mic did just get louder. Yeah, Jim Brooks, full sent on our favorite driver, Benjamin Combs, and just dumped him, and then they got iRacing.
Well, we'll take a look at that in a minute. Meanwhile, for pit stops, everyone looking like they're staying out, which is a little bit surprising to me, because I would think pitting now... Oh, who's in?
Someone is in. That is Benjamin Combs, well, to be expected. Oh, wow, I mean, his car is crabbing.
I sure do wonder why.
His car is crabbing. So...
I gotta say, though, I am shocked that not more people came in, because I would think pitting now would warrant a better shot at making it to the end on fuel, but instead, everyone has opted to stay out. Let's take a look at what happened to Benjamin Combs.
Yep, and you can see, if we have a quick look while we're looking at that, blimey, we have
what? Well, I pressed the completely wrong button. Hold on. I just went back to the start of practice because I clicked the wrong thing. Here we go. Benjamin Combs and Jim Brooks, they're battling, I believe it was for 5th or 6th at the time.
Yeah.
What happened this lap?
And you can see, at some point this lap it will.
Well, I knew it happened in 1 and 2. Take a look at this.
Yeah.
Watch for that orange and blue car of Jim Brooks going into turn 1. Combs a little high, Brooks a little low, and netcode. That was pretty bad. Oh my goodness, Brooks.
Yeah.
Just mounted Benjamin Combs.
And can we just point out, if the FIA ever needed a reason to install the halo, that's an example right there.
Yeah.
That's it right there. And if we can take a quick move away from racing to have a look at the chat that we currently have in the
I wouldn't look at that. It's very concerning. Don't look at that, please. Thank you.
I regret swinging onto that because I didn't know your mother was watching the stream.
That's
Jonathan?
not my mom. I don't know who he is. Help. Help.
Okay, well, Sir
Oh,
Sir Swagalicious. There you go. I meant to get my head around that one. If you are in fact Jonathan's mother, do send us an email at Jonathan. What's the email?
tmgracingnetwork@gmail.com.
There you go. Do send us an email there, and we will be sure to immediately block you.
All right, anyways, taking a look at what happened here between Brooks one more time. You're going to see Brooks is going to go in deep on Combs, a little bit of netcode contact, and at that point, a spectacular wreck. Brooks gets hooked on the 77 and up into the air, along with Benjamin Combs. That is violent, but surprisingly realistic.
Oh, yeah. We've seen in Indy cars, they like to get airborne. We're not going to reference any accidents in particular, but we've seen some pretty nasty ones. We've had some pretty nasty impacts on certain drivers.
Oh, by the way, I did just want to say one thing. That thing in the chat happened about 15 minutes ago. I just kind of didn't mention it. Didn't think it was necessary, but now you have, and I thank you very, very much for that.
Yeah, well, it's okay because now he's saying that he is not allowed to speak with him from this moment.
All of this happened like 20 minutes ago, dude. I didn't mention any of it because I just didn't want to. I just felt an express need to not mention what happened.
Yeah, don't worry about it, though. As we're now coming to 1 to green, here at Gateway, we are going to have 35 laps to go as we're going to come to the green. That was some maths in my head, I think.
Okay. Yeah, we're going to have around 35 or something like that. The point is, or 45. 45? Wait. No,
35, Jonathan. 35.
Yes, I knew that. It's going to be close on fuel,
I know you need to pull out your calculator,
man. Be around 35 laps. These drivers have got about 10 laps on their fuel run at the moment. So it's going to be very close to the end. We'll see how it all turns out. Van de Sant going to lead the field back to green. Very nice paint scheme, by the way. We'll see how this turns out. Just over 30 laps to go.
One thing we have to remember, though, is the fact that we've said that their fuel run would last them about to 110, but that is under green flag conditions. They have had 2 cautions since then to save fuel.
Either way, it's going to be a very interesting race to the end. Whether it turns out to be a fuel mileage race or an all-out brawl to the finish, we are sure to be in for a good one. We are going to go back racing in just a moment. There goes Van de Sant from the lead. We are underway. Back racing from Gateway.
A very good start there from Van de Sant, pulling away from Leclaire nicely, but Leclaire hasn't been able to shake Johnson, who is all over that gearbox. Big gap, though, to Gary Corley and Max Davis, who are side by side for fourth position in contact.
Oh, that got very close between Corley and Davies. Davies going to fall back just a little bit, but to Peterson and Krista Nelson. Nelson up into 7th. They're having an absolutely amazing day for their first start, already up inside the top 10.
Yeah, I've just had a look at the replay with Davis and was that no, it wasn't Nelson. Who was it? Corley, Davis and Corley. And I can tell you they got within about 1/3 of a foot of each other. So that just goes to show how close these drivers are willing to race. As you can see, though, Van de Sant is still leading. Sorry, Jonathan, go ahead.
I was just going to say it's getting a little bit closer from for the lead. 10th and a 3rd between those two.
Yep, I believe, though, that gap might go a little bit bigger, though. As you can see, it looks bigger anyway on track and might be a bit shorter, though. In reality, we know how looks can be deceiving. It's very close to the wall.
Especially
goes Van de Sant out of turn 4. Yeah, you can see gap at the line. What is now 3.6 tenths.
Taking a look on board with David Leclaire. If anyone's going to stop Van de Sant tonight, I think it's either going to be him or, I was going to say Charles Teed, but he's down in 10th right now, so I don't think it's going to be Teed.
Yeah, one driver, though, who I'm sure will try and challenge is Nick DeGroot, who is sidling his way up through the field nicely. As you can see, just moving it back a little bit, Brandon Pasalacqua and Adrian Musselman are side-by-side for 11th position.
I'm just keeping
They've been side-by-side for about a while.
I mean, it's pretty intense. Only about 5 tenths between them. Oh,
that was very close.
Everything okay? Where was it?
That was the battle for 11th as well, as Nick DeGroot's going for the double move.
Oh, Nick DeGroot. How about that? Down the inside on 2 drivers.
Yeah, it got extremely close.
We'll go ahead and show a replay.
Yeah, through turns, was that? No, that was through turns 1 and 2. Yeah, it looked like Nick DeGroot was about to slide straight up into the side of that number 23 machine.
Oh yeah, that
which
definitely...
isn't actually the number 23 machine. It's I give up.
That was very close, but Nick DeGroot made the most out of that opportunity to get 2 and 1, move his way up into 11th. Back for the battle for the lead, 7/10 between your top two. So now we're going to turn our attention to Nick DeGroot, who is working on 10th with Charles Teed.
Yeah, you can see though, look at the gap he's already formed to Musselman behind. It's about the same as there is in front of him to Charles Teed, who is himself in a 5-car battle for that 6th place.
It's a very, very good race going on right now, indeed.
Yeah, side by side, it looks like. There you go.
Slide job! Slide job! Sorry.
Yeah, Max Davis losing 3 positions then. Yeah, 3 positions if I can do maths.
Yeah, Davies fell back quite a bit there. Pretty good slide job by Charles Teed. We actually saw that in real life. I want to say it was in 2018 with Alexander Rossi. Meanwhile, back to Max Davies. He's got Nick DeGroot to worry about as well, who has made 6 pit stops in this race. That is going to take the record.
Yep, but you can see Nick DeGroot already all over the backside. He has got approximately 27 laps to do this, and he is certainly on his way to do it.
Battle between Spell and Forsyth, right behind Krista Nelson, and once again in their first start, all the way up into 6th. A very, very impressive run by Krista. Meanwhile, between 7th and 8th, Michael Spell and Craig Forsyth. Spell has the advantage there. Teed up to 9th. DeGroot up into 10th. Now DeGroot going down the inside on Charles Teed towards turn 3.
Yeah, you can tell though just how frustrated Nick DeGroot is, because it is pretty much a move every 2 laps right now for him, and he's going to be absolutely pushing like a madman, as Daniel Kvyat says. Is side by side ahead of him with Craig Forsyth and Michael Spell.
Look at all the time he's making up. Through 1 and 2, that looks like it was 4/10 minimum.
Yeah, you can see Craig Forsyth, though, right back in the slipstream of Michael Spell, and Nick DeGroot almost sending one.
Yeah, I think he had to back out of the gas there.
Yep, coming out, though, of turn 4, you're going to see he's going to have the slipstream heading across the line, and you can see what's he going to be able to do in turn 1 and 2. Absolutely nothing, but he's going to be looking to get the run. Heading down into turns 3 and 4, and very close with Michael Spell with the wall. That's going to open up the opportunity for
Nick DeGroot.
Craig Forsyth. Oh, Nick DeGroot Craig Forsyth looks to the outside corner on Michael Spell, and Nick DeGroot says thank you very much and full sends it.
You were talking about a move every 2 laps. You're probably not wrong about that. He's up into 8th, looking for 7th on Spell. Next up will be Nelson in that
Forsyth,
88.
though, fighting back. Sorry, Forsyth is fighting back.
Really? I did not see that.
Yep. Nothing you can do about it on this occasion, but Forsyth is going to be under attack now from Charles Teed as well as Nick DeGroot. As Nick DeGroot goes up the inside of Michael Spell, and he's now up into, what is that? Is that 7th place?
7th place. Very solid recovery for DeGroot. Coming up on 20 laps remaining in 2 laps time. For the lead, it is basically non-existent. It is Van de Son in his first start with a 1.2 second lead over David Leclaire. We'll see if we have to make any green flag pit stops, which might disrupt that. Meanwhile, Nelson looking after Peterson for 5th.
Yep, but you can see DeGroot is already on the back of Nelson. That is absolute pace that we're seeing from the young man there from Florida.
Outside line?
On the outside. Just
not even close. Oh my god.
Nick DeGroot, I have a feeling it might be our new Eric Keeter, and he's going straight down the inside. And on Eric Peterson, this is a drive and a half from the young man.
He's got 8/10 to make up on Gary Corley. We know Corley isn't that fast. And Nick DeGroot, after messing up early on in the pit lane, has been flying. This is incredible.
Yep, this is one of the drivers, though, who we are 100% going to bring up into the booth for an interview. So after the race, stay tuned for that one. I have a feeling it's going to be an absolute blast to interview this man.
Yeah, definitely. I'm actually considering making like a compilation video of this recovery and just posting it. Keep an eye out for that, because I might make that, you know? Haven't made just like a video in a while. I kind of want to do that.
Well, Jonathan, I do also hate to say it, but that is the 6th time in the last 4 races you said you're going to make a video about something, and you have made absolutely none.
Well, you know what? Promises were made to be broken, or something like that.
I mean...
Still no battle for the lead, but there is a battle for 6th between Nelson and Forsyth. Forsyth taking over that spot. Nelson falling back just a bit, but going to get that draft down the front straightaway. Nelson trying to go down the inside, not going to find an opportunity. Meanwhile, back to Benjamin Combs. He's currently side by side with AJ Hobson, but that battle is for 15th and 1 lap down.
Yep.
Meanwhile,
Back
Nick
up
DeGroot has closed the gap up to Johnson, who's in the pits.
Yeah. Johnson's in the pits, but he is now catching up to Gary Corley. The gap that time by is now 0.5 of a second. So he's closing it in. It's not going down very quickly, but as well, that pit stop from, was it Johnson then?
Yeah.
Is going to show us that they are going to have to make at least one more green flag stop. Johnson may be trying to take the gamble and going for it early.
Yeah, he might
to try and make us some time on fresh tires.
You know, if we were talking in terms of actual racing terms, we'd call that an undercut. I'm gonna use NASCAR terms and call it a short pit. What he's doing right now, he's just trying to pit kind of before the end of his fuel run, trying to get an advantage for the rest of the race. We're coming up on 15 laps to go. At the moment, it's Van de Sant's race to lose.
It most certainly is. It's heading up to Nick DeGroot and Gary Corley. Nick DeGroot is all over the back of him, making up about 0.5 in 1 lap then.
Nick DeGroot, what he's being able to do right now is actually make that high line work. And that's something I didn't think we'd see, especially on this new tire model, V7, without dynamic track in place. I didn't think he'd be able to make that line work. He's absolutely made it work. He's going to be in the slipstream on Gary Corley, and the line that he's taken off forward is helping him save tires. So Nick DeGroot with a really, really solid drive looking after that podium.
Yep, I have a feeling he might get it, though. He is now fighting for the third.
Big run here.
Oh, he's going for it. He's immediately gone for it. Absolutely no hesitation from the man from Florida. You can see heading into turn 3, and he's just sent it. And he says, thank you very much. That position is now mine. And he's even going to have a cheeky little slipstream from Bill Schwabauer.
So now we start to crunch some numbers. We're on lap 108 of 120. They last pitted around lap 75. In theory, the fuel run is at most 40 laps. I don't know if they're going to be able to make it without pitting one more time.
Oh my goodness gracious. Nick DeGroot. That was a brilliant lapping maneuver. I mean, if that was... he just went clean around the outside of Bill Schwabauer. After, there's nothing else happening. Have a replay of that.
Well, you know what? There is nothing else happening, so...
Just have a look at that. It was absolutely beautiful. You can see him absolutely catching up and then heading into turns 3 and 4. No, it was this lap. And there he goes.
God. Nick DeGroot is just flexing on all of us. I gotta say one thing about Nick DeGroot. He is a full-time editor at motorsport.com, but he has in his Twitter bio that he probably iRaces too much. If we've learned anything from this race, it's that clearly all that iRacing has paid off quite a bit. He's up into second after... Sorry
to interrupt. David Leclaire's pitted. David Leclaire has pitted.
I was just about to say that. Leclaire might be triggering up... Oh, here we go. Van de Sant into the pit lane and Nick DeGroot into the race lead.
Yep, I have a feeling, though, Nick DeGroot might have to pit this time by, because if not, and this is going to end up maybe with him running out of fuel. We do not want that happening after such a beautiful recovery drive. He's not pitting this time by.
Nick DeGroot has about 7 laps more on fuel than everyone else. He pitted on lap 82 when most people pitted a little bit earlier than that. Oh, boy.
He's going to have to risk it for the biscuit at this point.
No. He nearly got in the wall there.
Caution. That's a caution. What caused that caution?
Nick DeGroot just caught the luckiest break all race.
I'm having a look through, and I'm trying to figure... Oh, it is Michael Spell.
Michael Spell goes around.
I'm having a look at what happened to him there. Yeah, Michael Spell. And, he just got tabbed by Benjamin Combs, it was. Benjamin Combs goes straight up his backside, heading into turn 1, and puts him straight in the wall.
That was violent.
Yes, I have a feeling there might have been a wee little misunderstanding then. But you can see Nick DeGroot, he hasn't pit, he can't pit. Oh no, but you know what he can do? Is he can save fuel.
No, he can absolutely pit, because everyone else behind him needs to as well. But what I was going to say is that caution could not have been better timed for Nick DeGroot. He was staying out, trying to risk it until the end, trying to catch a lucky caution. That's exactly what he caught.
so many drivers that were staying out, that might have just ruined Nick de Groot's chance at this race win.
But take a look at the wreck again. Michael Spell gets tagged by Benjamin Combs, head on into the outside wall, flipped up into the air, and barrel rolling down through turn number 1. That is not the first time we've seen Benjamin Combs do that. We saw it last season at Michigan. Oh, and then he just slides in front of Max Davies and collects him as well. So the caution is out once again. Nick de Groot into the pit lane. Pasalakwa staying out. Musselman staying out as well. This is very interesting.
I'm kind of... Okay, wait, no. Okay, so Alexander Van der Sant he's unlapping himself right now. The question is where is Nick de Groot? Nick de Groot is on pit exit. So that means that Nick de Groot is actually ahead.
Yes, he is.
Of Van der Sant.
He caught him a lap down.
So that is brilliant for Nick de Groot, who I think most of the other drivers here are going to have to pit again, or they're going to try and risk it as Charles Johnson disappears. And you can see Bill Schweiber in the pits, as well as Benjamin Combs, AJ Hobson staying out. You can see, who is that who just pitted? Jim Brooks just pitted as well as Todd Schneider. So that is leaving.
Well,
if I look at Nick de Groot, that leaves him with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 cars ahead of him.
Well, no, because those are all lapped down, and I think they're going to have to be moved out of the way. What's interesting here is that Brandon Pasalakwa and AJ Musselman are 31 laps on their stints. Come the end of the race, they will have been 36 laps. That's cutting it close.
Oh, no, sorry. I'm completely baffled here for a second. So Nick de Groot's actually in third.
Yes.
Right now, and Brandon Pasalakwa is our leader. And
yes,
when was the last time Brandon Pasalakwa pitted? Would have
31 laps ago.
How you know that? I still don't know. But
because I have that's part of my timing and scoring software.
Yeah, it was about on lap 80. Sorry, no, that's Thomas. That's qualifying, not the race, mate. Okay, so no, he pitted on lap 85 or in the 83-84 area. That's when he pitted.
So here's the situation. Pasalakwa and Musselman, they are likely good on fuel. They're only going to need to make it 5 more laps. What they don't have is a tire advantage. And at a track like this where you're really turning a lot, you're lifting, you're braking, you're doing all sorts of things, it's going to eat up your tires. Nick de Groot is going to have a 30-lap tire advantage, but a 3-spot track position disadvantage. What Brandon Pasalakwa has to do on this next restart is absolutely gun it from the lead and try and hold off a very hard-charging Nick de Groot. Coming back to the restart, there will be 4 laps remaining. A caution will end the race. If not, we will have a fight for the win. Thomas, this is going to be very, very interesting to say the least.
It is. I'm crunching the numbers in my head right now, and so I'm looking at Brandon Pasalakwa's recent laps. So they're in the 26, like the low 26, high 25s.
Okay.
Right? Except when he was on brand new tires, he was in the low 25s. So that means that he has had about a second deficit a lap.
I think, man, this is going to be very, very interesting, to say the least. Thomas, I hope you're ready for an absolutely wild late race restart. We'll have 4 laps to go. We're going to pray that it stays green. Jeffrey Duncan somehow is up in 5th. He has 32 laps on his tires, so we're going to watch out for him as well. But here we come to the restart. Pasalakwa leading, 4 to go. He is back going. We are back racing at Gateway. Nick de Groot in 3rd, looking to charge his way through the field. Pasalakwa and Musselman looking to hold on for those top 2 spots.
Yeah, Forsyth there, having a look. I believe that's Forsyth anyway. It is. Having a look up the inside of Nick de Groot. Nothing you can do now, but you can... Oh, spinning in the back.
3 wide, Duncan falling back through the field. He's gonna be in everyone's way here.
We're coming. 3 laps to go now as we're coming to the line. De Groot is all over the back of Musselman. He's going to have a look now up the inside, maybe into turn 1. He is. There he goes, into turn 1, up the inside of Musselman.
He has to make it quick, though. He can't waste time here. He's got to try and get around him as quickly as possible. He's going to have a chance to in 3 and 4. 2 tenths between him and the race leader.
There he goes, all the way up the inside, and nothing. Oh my goodness, and he's already all over the back.
Here we go.
He's up the inside.
Nick DeGroot he spun himself out earlier in the race, coming out of the pit lane now with 2 laps remaining. He is looking after the lead on Brandon Pasalacqua. It's not going to be a challenge. Nick DeGroot is back to the front of Gateway.
And it's caution.
Caution comes out, race is over. Nick DeGroot has won for the 2nd week in a row here on the Dark Horse IndyCar Series, and what a fight back to the front that was.
And AJ Hobson is upside down thanks to this man. Gary Corley absolutely dumped him heading into turn 1. And Bob's your uncle at that point. AJ Hobson into the outside wall, and he is upside down.
But I mean, how about that? Nick DeGroot, in the span of 2 laps, able to work his way from 3rd up to 1st. Catches a caution, race is over. He did all that, having to fight back from, I want to say, what, like 20th? I mean, that was just incredible.
And I believe what that deserves is I am standing up on very bruised legs right now to give him a standing ovation at that point, because that was a hell of a drive. I mean, there's nothing else to say about it.
I gotta say, that's one of the more impressive things that I've seen in my very short career of broadcasting. It's only been a few months, but man, that was incredible. Nick DeGroot, I don't even know what to say at this point.
I have something to say.
All right, go
Eric
ahead.
Keeter would be quaking in his boots right now
Yes,
seeing
he
that
would
drive.
be.
So there we go. Nick DeGroot is across the line to win at Gateway somehow from Brandon Pasalacqua. Take it home in 2nd. AJ Musselman in 3rd. Craig Forsyth 4th. Charles Teed 5th. Max Davis and Jeffrey Duncan rounding out your top 7 with Nicholas Wunk in 8th. Alexander Van de Sant looked at one point as if he was dominating, is the last car on the lead lap in 9th. Super unfortunate race for him. And then our lapped cars are David Leclaire, super unfortunate for him once again. Gary Corley, Kristen Nelson, Michael W. Spell, Eric Peterson, Bill Schwabauer, Charles M. Johnson, AJ Hobson, Benjamin Combs, Todd Schneider, Jim Brooks, and Josh Gardner. Your retirements from this race were Charles M. Johnson, Josh Gardner, Jim Brooks, and Benjamin Combs at the end of the race. Josh Gardner retiring about on lap 80 due to that crash that he was involved in. As you can see now, Nick DeGroot, well-deserved, burning it down there on the start-finish line. Absolute hell of a race from that young man from Florida.
Yeah, just truly an incredible job. You can see your full results on the left-hand side of your screen now. Nick DeGroot wins over Brandon Pasalacqua and AJ Musselman, but Thomas already ran down through the results. I'm not going to take that from him. Taking a look at the point standings, this was coming into the race. Just kind of taking a look at where everything might stack up. One thing I'm noticing is that Nick DeGroot is going to have a big jump on Jim Brooks and AJ Hobson because both of them had major issues in this race. So I would predict that going into race 3, Nick DeGroot is going to be around 3rd, maybe 4th in the standings, with Charles Teed still holding on. But then again, he might not be in the lead. It kind of depends on the way the points stack out. Thomas, before we go ahead and do some post-race interviews, what are your thoughts on that race?
Honestly, at one point, I think you and I both thought that Van de Sant had that race win completely locked down. I mean, without that late race caution, he had that for sure. But then that late race caution came out, and it was bound to be a really, really good finish to that race, and it was.
Yeah, Nick DeGroot. I mean, just the fight back, the comeback, right? It was incredible. You know, he spun himself coming out of pit road. That's probably one of the more embarrassing things you can do on iRacing. Well, he didn't really let it get him down, right? He kept his head down, kept his spirits high, fought back all the way to the front, and in the end, he played the strategy right, got a little bit lucky with that caution, and came away with the victory. Let's see if we can go ahead and bring him up into the broadcast booth.
I'm sure we absolutely can, Jonathan.
There we go.
If I can find him.
Is this the right one? Yes,
it is. Hey, Nick. Hey, Nick. It's Thomas up at the TMG broadcast booth. You got me.
Hey, guys. Yeah, I got you.
Yeah. So, absolutely brilliant race win then. But I believe it's always important to recognize how well you did in that race, because coming from what I'm assuming is going to be your most embarrassing moment in spinning, coming out of pit lane and damaging your front wing, and then becoming the immovable wall for a few laps from second place, and then you somehow just fought your way back from, 20th at one point, with some absolutely brilliant moves. We were covering you for about the last 30 laps then. Just, what happened? I mean, there's nothing else we can ask.
Yeah, it was quite the saga, and a lot of luck there at the end. But yeah, so I did that half spin exiting the pit lane, but I did not know I damaged my front wing until Alexander told me as everyone was passing. I'm like, uh-oh, this is a problem. So I pit under green. I go a lap down. Then there's a caution. I should have just waited a lap. This is where it gets interesting. The quick repair was not working. And someone in the race, Craig, actually told me, yeah, it's a glitch sometimes. You're going to have to damage your car more and trust that it will fix it. So under caution, I ran the car into the outside wall with the hope that this will work, and it did. The quick repair took, restarted back in, 15th or 20th, and at the end of the race there, I was happy to just be in the top 5. And then they started pitting, and boom, we got that timely caution. It just put me in a great position. Brandon and AJ had a great play there, and yeah, if that caution comes out a corner earlier, Brandon wins that race. So quite the saga, a lot of luck, and I don't know how I'm here, but I'm happy to be here.
I was going to ask you kind of a pair of corresponding questions. First of all, on that first restart where you were still on the lead lap, but you were all the way back down in 20th after you had gotten your car repaired, what were you thinking kind of going to that restart? Did you think there was any chance that you were going to be able to fight back to the win?
No, I thought Alexander was going to be completely gone by the time I got anywhere near the front, and he was. But again, that caution, I was just hoping maybe we'll get a top 10. If we're lucky, we'll get a top 5, but it just worked out in our favor at the end there. And just sometimes the line's like that. Sometimes you're in the right place, right time.
The other question I was going to ask is, on that last restart, you were sitting in third. You knew the guys in front of you had older tires. What were you thinking? What was kind of your plan there, and how did it end up going? Well, we know how it ended up going, but I think that was a weird question.
I gotcha. My plan was essentially attack and get them as soon as possible, knowing that there could be a wreck at any moment, and that race ends at any moment. And we saw it. I got Brandon in turn 1 with, 2 laps to go, and then going on the backstretch, just a few seconds later, boom, there's the caution. So that I got real lucky with there because I did not have a great restart. They got a bit of a jump on me. So it took me 2 or 3 laps just to get back to them. So, yeah, again, all worked out, and heck of a race.
Yeah, Nick, that was absolutely brilliant. But the real question is right now is that we've talked about it in the broadcast, and you are an editor at motorsport.com, if I'm not mistaken. So will that race make the front page, do you reckon?
I think that's above my pay grade. I think there's some guys that would rather have some Lewis Hamilton stories up there, but yeah, probably not.
The thing is that what we were saying is it wasn't really a question. It was kind of like, you need to, we got to get that publicity out there, man.
All right. I gotcha.
What you got to do, right, is just kind of like, all right, there's an article, Lewis Hamilton wins a thing, right? You just got to add in, also, Nick DeGroot wins the Dark Horse. No? You don't like that?
There you go. Link to the broadcast, link to the league, link to everybody. There you go. Put it right at the bottom. They won't notice.
No, absolutely not.
Make sure to add our Instagram in there, which is, by the way, TMG underscore racing on Instagram, and you can follow all the news there as well as on Twitter, which I do believe is pretty much the same, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, it's the exact same thing. I like how this, it turned into just kind of us promoting things. Sorry about that, Nick.
I mean, as long as we're promoting things. Speaking of Instagram, you can follow our team, Factory Back Motorsports, on Instagram.
Hey,
we got a slick new paint scheme on this DW12 tonight, the black and white colors, and glad I was able to get it to Victory Lane.
Yeah, it looks really nice out there. Congratulations on the win. We hope to see you next week.
Absolutely. Thank you, guys.
Yeah, cheers. Thank you very much, Nick. So now, coming up into the broadcast booth shortly after this, we'll be
pressing him back because he's still here. There we go.
I'm doing it.
Okay, sorry.
Calm down, John. I'm doing this.
Because you just started, and I'm like,
Yeah, but I was doing it whilst I was speaking. Smooth transitions, man. I'm a professional. Okay, and now bring up our second place man, Brandon Buffalo.
Hey, Brandon. This is Jonathan up in the TMG broadcast booth. You got a copy?
Got a copy. How are you?
Well, we're doing really well. We just had a really fun race to broadcast, and you, I'm sure, had a very interesting race to have to be in. One of the things that we were wondering is, on that last restart, you were sitting in the race lead. It was, in a way, it was your race to lose. In the end, Nick DeGroot was able to get around you, but what were you thinking coming to the green flag there?
Let's see if I can finish this deal out. I've been close to winning a lot of races here recently, which I'm grateful for, but I just haven't clinched it at all. So I'm happy with the P2 finish for sure. But yeah, I'm just not as comfortable in these cars, I believe, as maybe Nick and some of the veterans of these cars is. And so I like a little bit of confidence there. And you saw that when I wasn't as aggressive off exit 2 when he was able to get a run. So great job by him, great driving by him, and really it was just strategy that got me up to the front. So really appreciative.
Yeah, well, for me, that was just an absolute brilliant race, Brandon.
Thank you.
You did super well. You managed everything perfectly. So unless Jonathan has anything else, that'd be brilliant. And we'll bring up third place man, AJ Musselman.
Well, I do actually have something else, because I was also wondering, on that last caution, what made you decide to end up staying out?
Yeah, we only had so many laps on our tires, and for me at this track, with it being hard to pass, track position is everything. So my main goal is just to get as far front as possible. Didn't need gas, luckily with that caution, and I was fortunate enough to become the leader. So you usually get a pretty good jump on the restart, so you should be able to secure a top 3 finish. But all in all, it was a great night. Really excited about the season and the group of people we have in this league. It's been amazing. Just want to say thank you to you guys in the broadcast. I love watching them after the race. Say thank you to Lionheart for providing great setups, and then of course everybody at Dark Horse Racing that does an excellent job of putting on a show each week. Good job, everybody.
Yep. Also, on that note, Brandon, I would love to thank especially everybody at Dark Horse putting on an amazing show for us. But the one thing I would like to mention real quick, and this is not a personal grudge whatsoever, but last week you thanked every single person except me.
Oh, I'm so sorry.
You mentioned this to me after the broadcast, by the way, so this isn't like a new thing.
I was all jumbled up here, so I apologize for that. So let me put it on here in front of everybody and say thank you very much. Truly appreciate it.
Yeah, well, thank you very much, Brendan, for putting on an absolutely amazing show for us. We enjoyed it up here in the broadcast booth. And up next, we're going to bring up third place man, AJ Musselman. Hey, AJ, it's Thomas up for the TMG broadcast booth. You got me? Yeah, we can't hear you. Still can't hear you.
Okay, I'm glad that's not just a me thing.
Nope, still can't hear you.
Oh no.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah.
There we go, AJ. We got you. So, AJ, I told you last week, or race one of the two, that I would be bringing you up here at some point, and you managed to get here on merit. Congratulations on that third place. Just run us through the race.
Yeah, thank you very much. So the first part of the race, so really the first 75% of the race, I just wanted to take care of the equipment. I knew the cars would be loose off of turn 2, and I just wanted to survive and keep the points in mind. And then after the second to last yellow there, I pitted, and I knew it would be close on fuel. I was not planning on running it till the end. However, about 4 laps into the run, I was doing the math real quick and realized that if I saved just a little, I'd be able to make it to the end. So I started backing off around lap 98. And I was good to go without the yellow. I was good on fuel. I was going to be right on the number, but I was good on fuel. And then after the yellow came out, it was just a matter of what can I do with these old tires with some of these big names behind me, like Nick DeGroot and Forsyth, Teed. Kept most of them behind me and come home with the podium. I'm very happy about it.
AJ, you've been in a position to win a lot of these races recently, but you haven't been able to close them out just yet. What are you thinking going into the next race at Watkins Glen?
Survival. I'm not the strongest road course racer, so I was really hoping for a good night tonight to offset a poor performance next week. Next week, I'd be happy with the top 10, top 12. I'm really just looking to survive that. But once we get back on the ovals, look out and come into play.
All right, well, Thomas, unless you have anything else to ask, we're going to go ahead and send AJ back. Congratulations on your podium, by the way. It was a bold call staying out there, but you were able to make the most out of it. Congratulations, Thomas. You got anything else? Well, that settles it.
Hold on. Nope.
Oh, nope.
My mic was muted. My mic was muted. I'm so dumb sometimes. First, I just want to say thank you very much, AJ, for putting on an amazing show for us. You kept us right on the edge of our seats until the very last moment. So thank you very much, and we're excited to see you racing again next week.
Yeah, thank you. Shout out to Lionheart for the help with the setups, and thank you guys for broadcasting. You have a good night.
Yep, you too. Have a good one.
Bye.
So that
I hope I send it back into the right channel, but that right there is going to be it. I realized I took Jonathan's sentence. Jonathan, go for it.
I was actually going to talk a little bit about the championship, because next week we've got a little bit of a wild card race. These guys are going to be going to Watkins Glen without the boot, so it's just going to be a straight shot down into the last 2 turns. Thomas, I know that you're a very, very good road course racer. You're probably going to be able to give us a little bit of insight for that race. But I'm wondering, Who do you think, after these first 2 races, is the championship favorite?
I mean, honestly, we have to say, looking at the results that happened...
3 races. 3, it's not 2.
Looking at the results of the last 2 races, and we have to say Nick de Groot's definitely going to be up there. I mean, unless something dramatic happens. But as well, I mean, you never know. Maybe we can't get out anyone like Charles T, David Leclaire, who's had a pretty poor start to the season, but you never know. Maybe he could pick it up towards the end. Alexander Van der Sant, he performed absolutely amazingly tonight. Even some of the drivers who had some pretty bad luck tonight. Charles Johnson, who, super unfortunate for him, qualified on pole, ended up all the way down in that 16th spot, ending up having to retire, I do believe. And even AJ Hobson, AJ Hobson, we've seen flash the speed with him winning the first race at Auto Club, but we'll never know until the church is sound. So that's pretty much all we can say. We can't say who's going to win the championship. All we can say is who's going to be right up there to the end.
In my opinion, I think if we're going to look at consistency, you got to look at Charles T and Nick de Groot. If we're going to look at wild cards, Pasalacqua and Musselman, they have been pretty good in these first 3 races, and then really, from there on out, we only have 3 races under our belt. I think it's kind of an open door. You don't really know what's going to happen at Watkins Glen. There are a couple other wild card races throughout the season, so it'll be very interesting to see how this championship battle progresses. But I think that's going to do it for today. So until next week at Watkins Glen, this has been Jonathan Oates and Thomas Fisher for TMG. We're going to be signing out. Congratulations to Nick de Groot on the win. We'll see